Hey everyone, and welcome to Yoga with Rachel. In today's class, we explore postures and movements that are designed to strengthen our hips. So today's practice is all about improving mobility, so that way we can move better. We will be staying low to the ground, using the earth here to support us. And if you do have one, feel free to bring along with you a yoga block or a similar sized item, as that would be very useful. And if you do not have those items, it is all good. You can always just tap on into that creative mind. All right, let's get started. We begin today's practice on our backs. When you arrive there, hug your knees in towards your chest. Arms wrap around the shins and find a gentle rock from side to side. Wonderful. Find stillness. Keep the right knee hugged in and then send the left leg out long. Flex through both feet. Left heel presses down into the earth. Breathe in and then breathe out to switch. Right leg goes out long and the left knee hugs in. Breathe in and then breathe out to hug both knees in towards the chest once again. Breathe in and breathe out to release both feet to the earth. Allow your hands to rest at your sides. Let's warm up our hips with some internal and external rotation. Melt both knees over towards the right. No worries if the knees do not connect with the earth. Go to a point where you feel some work being done. Knees come back through center and then melt over to the left. 2 more rounds on each side. Right, left, right, left, and then back to center. Feet are roughly hip distance apart. Walk your feet closer towards your bum. If you have a yoga block or another item, place it between your thighs. Squeeze that item. If an item is not available, I invite you to use your imagination. Breathe in to lift the hips towards the sky, perhaps feeling a nice opening in the hip flexors. Bridge pose. Press into your heels and imagine that you are trying to drag your heels towards your shoulders. Perhaps in doing this action, you feel the hamstrings activate along with the glutes. Breathe out to lower back down to the earth. Breathe in to lift the hips. This time pressing into the feet and imagine that you are trying to tear your yoga mat in half, right down the middle. Exhale to lower. Breathe in to lift. Squeeze that item between your thighs. Exhale to lower. Place your item off to the side. Let's make our way back into a bridge pose. This time we are going to march it out. Press into all that is touching the earth as we lift the right foot away from the earth and then draw the right knee closer towards the chest. Hold and squeeze. Then lower. Left foot lifts and hovers. Draw the left knee closer towards the chest and then lower. Let's keep this marching action going at our own pace. The challenge is doing our best to keep our hips lifted as the bum may be tempted to dip a little bit closer towards the earth. Wherever you are, at least one more round on each side. Wonderful. Lower and release. Awesome work. Let's take one breath cycle here. Breathe in through the nose and then out through the nose or your mouth. Let's sweep the right foot to the sky. Feel free to keep a generous bend in the right knee. Breathe in to press into the foundation as we lift the hips away from the earth. Arms and hands are pressing into the earth, finding a one-legged bridge. Breathe out to lower down slightly, keeping the bum hovering above the mat. The right leg remains extended. Breathe in to lift. Exhale to lower slightly. 2 more times. Breathe in, lift. Exhale, lower slightly. Breathe in, lift. Exhale to lower slightly. And then we release everything. Reset and take it on over to the other side. Sweep the left foot to the sky. Breathe in to lift the hips towards the sky. And then exhale to lower slightly. 3 more times. Breathe in, lift. Exhale, lower slightly. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And then breathe out. And then release everything back to the earth. Perhaps you take a moment to notice how the hips, back, and glutes feel. Send your left leg out long and then hug the right knee in. Flex through both feet, toes point towards your face. Place both hands on your right thigh. Begin to press your thigh away from you. At the same time, your thigh pushes back into your hands. So really your leg stays in one spot. Not only are we stretching out the left hip flexor, but we are also building strength in our right hip. Keep that breath flowing. We are here for one more breath cycle. Lovely. Send the right leg out long. Left knee hugs in. Flex through both feet. Hands press the thigh away, and then the thigh pushes back into the hands. A kind reminder to keep that breath flowing. One more breath cycle. And relax. Hug both knees in. Option to come through a fetal position to a seat on your mat, or you can place your hands on your hamstrings and rock and roll the length of the spine to a seated position. Take your time getting there. Once you are there, let's make our way to a wall. You can still do this movement without a wall. The wall will offer support and help us maintain length in our back body and can help isolate where we would like the work to take place. In other words, our hip flexors. Send the legs out long, feet hip distance apart. Place your hands at your sides, either palms on the earth or fingertips. If you have an item, like a yoga block, place it beside your right calf on the outside. Or you can just use your imagination. Lift your right leg away from the ground and then move your right leg over the imaginary or real object. Hover, and then move the leg back over the object. Hover. Let's keep this action going for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the right leg back to the earth. If you feel any cramping, please know that that is normal. We are building strength here. If you are not against a wall, you may notice that the back is getting involved in the action and begins to round forward. That's why a wall would be useful for this exercise. Okay, let's move the item to the left side. Lift and hover the left leg away from the earth, move the left leg over the object, hover, and then move the left leg back over the object and hover. Let's keep this action going for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release and lower. Take a breath cycle here. Let's make our way back to our mats, if you are not already there, and come to lay on your left side. Stack your left elbow under your shoulder. Forearm is parallel to the top edge of the mat. Actively press away from the mat to create space. Send both legs out long and stack the legs. Right leg is on top. Our hips are pointing forward. Flex through the feet. Toes point forward. Now lift the top leg away from the bottom leg. Go to a point where you begin to feel the outer hip engaged, so there's no need to go too high here. Keep the right toes pointing forward, and then lower. 2 more times on this side. Lift, lower, lift, and lower. Stay here, but bend your knees. Feet are still stacked. Draw your right knee up towards the sky. Hold and squeeze. This is called the clamshell exercise. So you can picture a clamshell as you do this action. And then close the legs. 2 more times. Open, squeeze, close. Open, squeeze, and then close. Other side. So turning on to the right side. Send both legs out long. Toes point forward. Lift the top leg, meeting your appropriate edge. Lower. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Bend at the knees, feet remain stacked. Reach the left knee towards the sky. Squeeze and then lower. 2 more rounds. Lift and squeeze, lower, lift and squeeze, and then lower. Let's roll onto our bellies. Slide your hands so that way they are in line with the rib cage. Curl your toes under and then press up into a plank. 1 breath cycle here. And then slowly lower the knees to the earth. Walk the wrists under the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Rock the pelvis forward to create length in the low back body. If you have a yoga block or an item, feel free to place that item on your low back. This will encourage the low back to stay still during this movement, so that way we can isolate where we would like the work to happen, which is in our hips. Lift and hover the right knee away from the earth, and then open the knee off to the side. Hydrant dog. Bring the knee back in, still hovering away from the earth. Let's do this action for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now open up through the right leg once again, hydrant dog. But now this time, let's straighten through the right leg. So it's kind of like you're doing a side kick. Hold here and squeeze. You got this. All right, bend at your right knee and lower, coming back to a tabletop position. Lift the left knee away from the earth and then open the knee off to the side, hydrant dog. And then back to start. We are here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open the knee off to the side once again. Now straighten through the left leg and squeeze. Flex through the left foot. Keep that breath flowing, my friend. Beautiful. Release and lower. Place your item off to the side. We are going to stay on all fours, so if the wrists are getting a little bit chatty here, feel free to make some fists and plant them on your mat. Send the right foot behind you, leg hovers above the ground and is about parallel to the earth. Sole of the foot reaching towards the back of the room. Right toes move towards the left side. They lower and then rest on the earth. Turn to look past your left shoulder and towards your right toes. Breathe in to reset. Right leg is straight and hovers. Breathe out to lower. Right toes cross over and rest on the earth. Look at your right toes. Breathe in to lift. Breathe out to cross and lower. Breathe in to lift. And breathe out to cross and lower. Breathe in to reset and come back to tabletop position. Send the left leg back and behind you. Leg hovers above the ground. Breathe in. And then exhale to draw the left toes towards the right side. Lower. Left toes kiss the earth. Look past your right shoulder and to your left toes. Breathe in to lift and hover the left leg. Exhale to cross and lower. 2 more rounds. Breathe in to lift. Exhale to lower. Breathe in to lift. And exhale to lower. Breathe in to reset back to tabletop position. Swing the legs off to one side and make your way to a seated position. Bring the soles of your feet together, the knees go wide. Hands rest on the ankles. Loop the shoulders, gliding the shoulder blades down the back body. Let's begin to flutter our wings, also known as our legs, up and down. Eventually, we find stillness. Walk your hands forward. Breathe in. And then breathe out to begin to round through the spine, chin towards the chest. Perhaps you place your forearms on the earth for a deeper stretch. We are here for 5 breath cycles. Beautiful. Rise on up, close your legs, walk your feet wider than your hips, and swim your hands back and behind you. Drop the knees over to the right. Hang out here for a moment. And then the knees come through center and eventually melt towards the left. Right. And then left. Right. And left. Knees come back to center. Find a comfortable seat of your choice. Draw your hands together and then to your heart, bow your head. Take a moment to consider which postures you enjoyed from today's class. Which exercises would you return to continue building strength in your hips? Perhaps you take a moment to notice how your hips feel. I encourage you to return to this video often to help improve mobility in the hips, to help you move better. Breathe in through the nose, and then a slow breath out through the nose. Thank you for being here today. I invite you to subscribe to Yoga with Rachel so that way we can stay connected. Take good care, everyone. Namaste.